Hello everyone, welcome to the 15th lab. The link for this lab is given in the description. So let's enter the contest. The first question is prime factors. Let's read the problem statement. Given a number as input, find its prime factors and print them in ascending order. In case the given number is negative, print invalid input. So here in the input we are given an integer and we need to print all the prime factors of the number. So for example, we are given 48. So we wrote all the prime factors 2, 2, 2, 2 and 3. So 2 raised to power 4 is 16, 16 into 3 is 48. So let's see how we can calculate the prime factors. Suppose I am given a number 792. I'll start checking it with the first prime number, that is 2. So 792 is divisible by 2. So we divide it by 2 and now we have to check 396. Now we need to find out the prime factors of 396. Again this is divisible by 2. So I'll write 2 is again the prime factor and now I have 198. Now I need to find out the prime factors of 198. Now when I divide 198 by 2, I'll get 99. Now I need to find out the prime factors of 99. It is not divisible by 2. I'll move on to the next number, that is 3. It is 33. Now I need to find out the prime factors of 33. Again this is divisible by 3. I'll write 3 as its prime factor and I'll get 11. Now I need to find out all the prime factors of 11. It is not divisible by 3. I'll check the next number 4. It is not divisible by 4. Then I'll check 5. This is not divisible by 5. I'll check 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. 11 is not divisible by either of them. Next I'll check 11. 11 is divisible by 11. So 11 is its prime factor and now I'll get 1. So I'll stop when I get 1 and all of these are the prime factors of 792. So all the prime factors of 792 are 2, 2, 2, 3, 3 and 11. So let's see how we can code this. So let us start the code. First of all, we'll make object of scanner class. So I'll write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Next I'll take an input integer. Int n is equals to sc.nextInt. The first thing I have to do is if n is negative, I need to print invalid input. So I'll write if n is less than 0, I'll print invalid input. So system.out.print invalid input and I'll write the remaining part in the else block. Now I will check for all the numbers starting from 2 till n. So for int I is equals to 2, I less than equal to n, I plus plus. Now in the I loop I am checking for all numbers, even those numbers are checked which are not prime. But in the output we'll only get the prime numbers. The reason is, suppose the number is divisible by 6. 6 is a composite number which is equivalent to 2 multiplied by 3. So if a number is divisible by 6, that number will definitely be divisible by 2 and by 3. So we will get 2 and 3 and when we will divide it by 2 and 3, the remaining number will no longer be divisible by 6. So in the output we will only get the prime factors. So how will we do it? If n is divisible by I, so as long as n is divisible by I, we'll print I and a space and we'll keep on modifying n. N is equals to n divided by I. Let's run this code. The sample test cases have passed. Let us now submit it. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question. That is, replace zeros with ones. The problem statement is, given an integer, replace all zeros with ones. So we are given a number 30902. What we have to do is, for every digit where we have 0, we need to change it to 1. Now let's see the first test case. We have the number 30902. So in place of zeros, we need to replace it with 1. So how will we do it? So We need to access each digit. So while calculating the reverse, we were accessing each digit of this number. So what we will do here is, we'll calculate the reverse of this number, and whenever the remainder, that is n mod 10, will be equal to 0, in its place we will put 1. And finally we will get the reverse of this number as 21913. But in the output, we need the reverse of this number as well. So again we will reverse this to get 31912. So let us see how to code it. First we'll make object of scanner class. So I'll start by writing scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now I'll take the input integer n sc.nextInt. Now we'll calculate the reverse of this number. For calculating the reverse, I'll store it in a variable named rev. Let's initialize it to 0. How will we calculate reverse? Now while this number n is greater than 0, until then we'll keep on finding the last digit, that is n mod 10. Now if this last digit is 0, I need to modify it to 1, and then we can calculate the reverse as 10 into reverse plus last digit, and then we can modify the variable n. So n divide equals to 10. Now I have the reverse of the original number with zeros replaced by ones in the variable rev. Now for the final output, I need to reverse this variable. So I'll take another integer variable and initialize it to 0. For the reverse part, I'll copy paste the while loop. Now while reverse is greater than 0, I need to find out the last digit of the variable reverse. I do not need to modify the last digit, and the new reverse will be equal to 10 into reverse 2 plus the remainder, and this variable rev divide equals to 10. So now I have the final output in the variable rev2, so I'll directly print it. So I'll write system.out.print rev. Now this while loop will only run when the number is greater than 0. Suppose I have input as 0. For that I need to print 1. For that I'll use an if condition. So if n is equals to 0, in that case we'll print 1. So I'll write system.out.print 1, and I'll return from the main function. Let's try to run this code. The sample test cases have passed. Let us now submit it. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question. The next question is committee selection. Computer teacher is trying to start a coding committee. There are X students in the class and Y member committee has to be formed. In how many ways can it be done? So in the input we are given two lines. The first one represents the total number of students in the class, and the second input represents the number of students in the committee. So we need to tell how many different committees are possible. Suppose we have X total students and we need to form a Y member committee. The formula for this is XCY. That is, from X number of students we are choosing Y number of students. So in XCY number of ways we can have the committee. So how can we expand XCY? This is equivalent to X factorial divided by Y factorial multiplied by X minus Y factorial. Now you can see in the constraints you are given that X and Y values can be up to 15. So if I calculate the value of 15 factorial, it exceeds the integer range. So we need to store these factorial values in long data type. So let us see how we can code it. First we'll make object of scanner class. So scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now I'll take two integer inputs x and y. So int x is equals to sc.nextInt. Similarly y is equals to sc.nextInt. Now the input part is over, so we'll close the scanner object using sc.close. Now I need to find out three factorials: x factorial, y factorial and x minus y factorial. So I'll use three long variables. So I'll write long factorial 1, factorial 2 and factorial 3. So we'll initialize all these factorials by 1. Now first I need to find out the factorial of x. So how will we do that? We'll start a for loop for int I is equals to 1, I less than equal to x, I plus plus, and factorial 1 multiply is equals to I. We'll do the same for factorial 2 and factorial 3. So for factorial 2 I need to calculate y factorial, so I'll go till y. And here I'll write factorial 2 multiply is equals to I. For factorial 3 I need to go till x minus y. And here I'll write factorial 3 multiply is equals to I. Now in the end I need to find out factorial 1 divided by factorial 2 into factorial 3. So the answer will be in integer. So int answer is equals to factorial 1 divided by factorial 2 into factorial 3. Now the right hand side answer will be in long, but in the left hand side I need to store it in an integer variable. So I'll typecast this whole value into integer. And now I need to print answer. So I'll write system.out.print answer. Let's try to run this code. The sample test cases have passed. Let us now submit it. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question. The next question is count the factors. Given two integers a and b, find out whether a has exactly b factors or not. In case it has exactly b factors, print yes, else print no. In case any of the numbers a or b is negative, print invalid input. So let's see how we will solve this. So let us see the first test case. So we have 7 and 2. If we calculate the factors of 7, we have only two factors, 1 and 7. So in B we are given 2. So the answer is yes. In the next case we have 12 as input and 3. 12 as value of A and 3 as value of B. So if we calculate the factors of 12, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. That is 6 factors, but B value is 3. So we'll print no as the output. So let's see how we can solve this. First we'll make object of scanner class. So I'll write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Next I'll take two integer inputs, int a is equals to sc.nextInt. Similarly int b is equals to sc.nextInt. So now if any of these numbers is non-positive, that is if it is less than equal to 0, if a less than equal to 0 or b less than equal to 0, in this case we need to print invalid input. So I'll write system.out.print invalid input, and then I'll return from the main function. Now we will calculate the number of factors of a. So I'll start my count from 0, and for int I is equals to 1, I less than or equal to a, I plus plus. Now I need to know how many of the I values are factors of a. That is, a is divisible by I. So if a is divisible by I, that means I is a factor, so I'll add 1 to the value of count. Now after the count is complete, I need to check if this count value is equal to the number b or not. So if count equal to b, I'll print yes. So I'll write system.out.print yes, else I'll print no. So else system.out.print no. Let's try to run this code. The sample test cases have passed. Let us now submit it. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question, that is expense calculator. The problem statement is Nobita has started a new job and is trying to keep track of his expenditure. Help him by creating an expense calculator. The calculator is fed with the expenditure which have occurred throughout the month. It needs to output the total savings, positive or negative, during the month. The calculator needs to take input from the user until the user enters N to quit. If the user enters Y, it means there are more entries. So let's see the first test case. In the first test case, the first line is income 200Y. So this means the first entry is income and the income is of rupees 200, and then we have entered Y. Y means there is more input to be given. In the next line, we have expenditure 20Y. So now 20 rupees is the expenditure. So from 200, 20 rupees is spent. We have 180 rupees, and now we still have the character Y. That means there is more input. Again, we have expenditure 20Y. Out of 180, 20 rupees are spent. So we have 160 rupees and there is still more input. In the next line, we have expenditure 20Y. Now the savings are rupees 140 and there is more input. Next, we have income 30N. So now we have 30 rupees as income. So 140 plus 30 is rupees 170. And now there is no more input. So we stop. And the final savings are printed as 170. So let's see how we can code this. So first of all, we'll make object of scanner class. So I'll write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now in this case, there are three inputs. First one is a string, then we have an integer, then we have a character, but they are given repeatedly. So the input must be taken in a loop. Now which loop should I use? Here I am given that there is at least one entry in the calculator. There is at least one entry, so we'll use a do while loop. So I'll write do, and what is the condition? While the character that is entered is not equal to n. Until the character is not n, I'll continue taking the input and calculating the savings. So now, first of all, let's declare these three variables. So I have string s, next I have an integer n, and I have a character, let's say ch. Now while the character ch is not equal to n, I'll keep on taking the input, or you can write character equal to y. Then we'll put semicolon. Now what we'll do inside the do while loop, we'll take these three inputs. So first input will be for string s. For taking string input, we have two functions, next line and next. Here I want to take input only up till the space. I need not take the whole line as input. So here I'll not use the next line function, I'll use next function. So I'll write s is equals to sc.next. Next I have an integer input. I'll take it as sc.next int. Next I have a character input. I'll take it as character equal to sc.next. This gives me the string, and then I'll extract the 0th character from it. So we have taken all the three inputs. Now we'll calculate the savings. So now how are the savings calculated? If the string s is equal to income, the value of n will be added to savings. If string is equal to expenditure, the value of n will be subtracted from the savings. First, we'll declare an integer variable for savings and initialize it to 0. Now, how can we compare the value of string? We'll use a switch case. So, I'll write switch s. Now, there are two cases for s. Case 1 is income. So, I'll write case income. Now, if the case matches income, I need to add the value of n to savings. So, I'll write savings plus is equals to n. Now I need not do anything else, so I'll break from this case. And in the second case, when the case is expenditure, in this case I need to subtract value of n from savings. So I'll write savings minus is equals to n. And now I need not break because there are no more lines in the switch case. So now when I'll exit from the do while loop, I'll have the final savings stored in the variable saving. So I'll print that. So I'll write system.out.print savings. Let's try to run this code. The sample test cases have passed. Let us now submit it. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question, that is swapping using extra variable. Given two integers a and b, swap the values stored in them using an extra variable and print them on screen. So suppose I have two numbers a and b, 10 and 20. I need to store the value of B in variable A and need to store the value of A in variable B. I can use one extra variable for doing so. So how will I do it? I have two variables, A, where some value is stored, and I have another variable B, where some other value is stored. Now I can take one extra variable and I need to swap these values. So how will I do it? Suppose value of A is 2, value of B is 3. First of all, I'll store one value, let's say value of A, in this temporary variable. So I'll write temp equal to A. So now this value goes into temp. So I have 2 stored here. Now I can store the value of B in A. So I'll write A is equals to B. Now in place of B, I can write the value of temp. So in place of B, I'll write the value of temp. Now 2 goes here, the value of 3 goes here, so A is changed to 3. And then the value of temp goes into value of variable B. So here 2 is stored. Now we have swapped these two values. Let us see how we will code this. First we'll make object of scanner class. So I'll write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now I'll take two integer variables, int a is equals to sc.nextInt and int b is equals to sc.nextInt. Now I'll take another temporary variable, int temp. I'll store the value of A into this. Now I can store the value of B in A, and in B I'll store the value of temp. Finally, I'll print the new values of A and B. So I'll write system.out.print A, then a space, then value of B. Let's try to run this code. The sample test cases have passed. Let us now submit it. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question. Swapping without extra variable. Given two integers A and B, swap their value without using any extra variable. In the last question, we swapped two variables, but we used one extra variable for swapping them. I again have to swap their values, but I cannot take one extra variable. So let's see how we will do this. Suppose I have variable A whose value is 2 and variable B whose value is 3. I need to swap these values. Now in the value of A, I'll store the sum of these two numbers. So I'll store 5. Now A stores the sum. Now variable A has the sum of two numbers. I have 3 in B and 5 in A. Now if I subtract 3 from 5, I'll get the old value of A and I'll store this in B. So A minus B, I'll store this in B. So now B becomes 2. That is the original value of variable A. Now from the sum, if I subtract this new value of variable B, that is 5 minus 2, I'll get 3. That is the original value of variable B and I'll store this original value in variable A. So now in B I have 2, that was the value of A. In A I have 3, that was the value of B. We can also do the same thing by using product. Suppose I have A as 5 and B as 2. In variable A I can store the product of these two numbers, that is 10. Now I can get value of variable B by A divided by B, that is 10 divided by 2, which is 5. That was the original value stored in variable A. Similarly for A, I'll use A divided by B, that is 10 divided by 5, that is 2. That was the original value of variable B. We can use either of them for swapping the variables without using any extra space. So this method is more preferable because in multiplication, we may exceed the range of integer variable. So this poses a risk of overflow. So we preferably use this method for swapping two variables without using any extra space. So let us see how we will code this. First we'll make object of scanner class. So I'll write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in Now we'll take two integer variables, int a as sc.nextInt, and similarly integer b equals to sc.nextInt. So now in the first variable a, I'll store the product, then I'll write b equals to a by b and a equals to a by b. Now I need to print a and b variables. So system.out.print a, then a space, then b. Let's try to run this code. The sample test cases have passed, and now let's try to submit this. All the test cases have passed. All the questions of lab 15 are complete. Thanks for watching. See you in the next lecture.